Lit Light and Transmission is a survey of the diverse range of light art within a shared medium of both neon and plasma sculpture. As an artist, I chose those who had impacted my creative process and education, and have expanded my worldview on the nearly unlimited potential of neon and plasma light as an artistic medium. As a curator, the people I invited present expressions of light within a variety of shared and differing experiences, skills, and techniques. Light and Transmission is a multi-layered expression of my excitement in this growing community, be it the undying light of neon or the obscure nature of plasma. Past, present, or future, there will be light. Hello, podcast listeners. Before we begin today's episode, I want to thank everyone for their support for Taming Lightning, especially those who are supporting me through Patreon. They help cut the cost of hosting the podcast, and for their contributions receive some additional benefits. Now, during my hiatus, I worked on getting ahead on the podcast production, and so my Patreon supporters get early access to the end of 2022. Additional documents such as Chapter 2 notes, guidelines for vessel structure in plasma sculpture are downloadable by my Patreon patrons for personal access. Again, this is a special privilege to my Patreon supporters. Those of you who are supporting me through viewing and checking out the website, it's there and available on the blog, so no worries there. If you want to support the podcast, join me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/taminglightning. And I also accept one-time donations through Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/taminglightning. Let's get to it.
Neon lights, I'm baffled. Pick it apart like samples. Give me all I can handle. Light me up like a candle. I'm taming lightning. Percy got that lightning. Plasma in my veins.
Welcome back and welcome to the Taming Lightning podcast. I'm Percy Ackles II, your host for Taming Lightning. I'm an artist, alchemist, and educator at the Pittsburgh Glass Center, where I'm pioneering the development of a studio for the emergence of plasma and neon light art. Self-study in this field has led me to a growing network of experts and institutions that allow for conversations with artists, makers, and experts related to plasma, neon, glass, and beyond. Through this podcast, I hope to expand our understanding of plasma and neon light, explore the potential for electrified gases as an artistic medium, and have fun making and sharing what I learn along the way. Hello, Lightning Tamers. Percy here. This is episode number 49, and in today's podcast, I'll be reading a review on an exhibition I curated called Lit, Light and Transmission, that was shown in the Hodge Gallery at the Pittsburgh Glass Center last year in 2021. This was shown from February 5th and extended until July 28th. This is the second exhibition I curated, the first being in 2017, an ISU, that's Illinois State University, alumni exhibition from our Glass Progam. And so I find it to be valuable to have this document of thoughts and interpretations of what I've helped create. And this goes double for the podcast and any of the video guides and contents I produce. Your feedback is valuable. The following review is by the Pittsburgh-based independent curator and critic Vicky A, who is an art historian and author specializing in contemporary art and was written for issue 163 of the Glass Quarterly magazine. And as a heads up, in the next episode, I have a conversation with Vicky to learn about her background and share insights about the exhibition. So, what is Glass Quarterly? Well, it's an art magazine that is published 4 times a year by Urban Glass in Brooklyn, New York. With a 4-color printing and the highest production values, the magazine presents a serious discourse about glass as a medium for contemporary art. Glass Quarterly was founded by Richard Yale in 1979 and was originally titled New Work in Glass. In its 167 issues, the magazine has provided a critical context to the most important work being done in the medium of glass. Its contributors include some of the most important critics and curators in the field. so please support the official release. Lit light and transmission at the Pittsburgh Glass Center is presented in a dramatic and dark room filled with a melange of sculpture, all illuminated by the use of neon, plasma, and other gases. Like the bright lights of a city, light and color jump out, activating the space. It is almost like being at a carnival. The use of light provides consistency, but it is a disparate group, some evoking nostalgia for bygone neon signs slowly disappearing from our world, while others would be more comfortable in science fairs. These associations lend an accessibility to the work that features a combination of information and practices from various fields, from physics and engineering to art. Curator Percy Eccles II is a young artist making a mark in the world of glass with a mission to further and popularize the use of plasma with glass. Yet he refreshingly admits to including work that was made an impression on him by friends, colleagues, mentors, and innovators. This then is a personal take on the new possibilities in glass, with a variety of content and techniques. It must have been difficult to install the work so that each work has its own place without interfering from its neighbors. And I'm wondering why the works weren't grouped thematically. Small and bright, Michael Fleckner's works depicting an airplane, a shark, and a flash camera with a real strap and parts of a working apparatus have a 1960s pop culture vibe that provides a counterpoint to the quotidian things of Klaus Oldenburg upscaled. They are in proximity to a one-word sign, Limelight, that is part of a series by Denzel Russell based on his experience in the diaspora. Not far away is a large-scale piece made from strands of VHS tape with a circular neon tubes anchored on each end. Sarah Blood's Echo has the least amount of light, and the pieces relate more to the contemporary sculpture that includes new materials. Such jumps take time to absorb, but also reveal a variety of interests of artists working with glass. Common in much of the work is a reaction to living in a world still defined by binary oppositions. The artworks here exist in a in-between space, where seemingly contrary elements are combined in configurations that force questions about pre-existing distinctions between art and science, visibility and obfuscation, as well as demands for technology and the nuances of artist expression. Rooted in contemporary cultural questions about meaning and different ways of working, the show encourages new ways of looking and thinking. Several artists in Lit use text to deconstruct assumptions and cultural constructions. Danielle James adds neon to recycled materials in what she calls economic alchemy, and the latter a term closely associated with the process of making glass. Others like Eve Hoyt and Leo Tchaikovsky conflated text and gesture, accenting the decorative qualities of script. These artists merged the historic uses of neon work with the more contemporary issues about identity, representation, and the environment, or relying on information from other disciplines. Other pieces incorporate plasma almost look like science fair projects, with the artists relying on scientific theories because the gases used to fill the tubes and vessels need the energy to create light, color, and movement. Ed Kirster made a lightning chamber with plasma that emits a pale pink aura. Fascinated by the theories of self-controlling chaos and emergence, he balances the idea of control and freedom to simulate lightning or electric pulses. The pinkish vessel sits on an orange base shaped like a lamp, adding a playful tone to the work. The human body in all of its complexity has a strong presence in the theory-driven art for several decades now. Harriet Swartzrock explores the interplay between visibility and invisibility, similarities and differences. In 3 works entitled Spaces Between, the artist places 2 chambers of the heart in shadow boxes and fills each one with a different mixture of gases to make different colors. They are like the models found in anatomy class, and the pulses that activate the chamber are like heartbeats. The shiny, hard glass surfaces speak of a sterile environment, of surgery, yet By adding color and light, the artist also refers to a living organ as well as the seat of emotions, both the source of many symbols and metaphors. Most of the pieces in Lit are transformative in some way. The relationship of art to other bodies of knowledge, the emerging binary opposites, drawing on history while experimenting with the new. There are rich references to light artists from Dan Flavin and Joseph Ossoff to James Turrell and Robert Irwin, with newer artists imbuing their predecessors' supposedly non-referential work with issues and ideas. Perhaps the most fascinating concept explored is how something that is invisible, a variety of gases, can be forced to be visible. And that raises an interesting question on how we know about things we can't see, and how we know what we know, or even what we don't know. A provocative discussion of these ideas can be found in a book by Chuck Klosterman. In the meantime, we can ponder answers, in this case, an artwork that lives in the space between, in a no man's land, the liminal. Thank you for listening to the Taming Lightning podcast. Music credits to the following artists in order of appearance. Retro by One. Next Time by Haiku. The opening theme, Taming Lightning by Trav B. Ryan. And Walking by Roz Hobb. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. This review was written by a Pittsburgh-based independent curator and critic, Vicky A. Clark, for the magazine Glass Quarterly, featured in issue 163. As a production under Urban Glass that has one of the very few public access studios to learn and experience neon and plasma, there's bound to be past features I have yet to check out. As a matter of fact, I have purchased a back issue, 162, with the cover feature drawn to the glow by Victoria Ahmad-Izadeh Melendez about the staying power of neon despite the predicted obsolescence and constant replacement with LEDs. In the next episode, I will be talking with Vicky A. Clark to learn about her background and share insights about the exhibition. Thank you, Vicky, for your review. I have shared it with all the participants in the exhibition and look forward to sharing our conversation. I'd like to thank the Pittsburgh Glass Center for supporting me as a place of research and inspiration, in addition to their support via the Advancing Black Arts in Pittsburgh grant that funded the exhibition Lit Light and Transmission, and the Plasma Art Alliance, where I have an access to a well of knowledge and connects me to some amazing and supportive people. If you'd like to support Taming Lightning, subscribe to the newsletter on www.taminglightning.net or follow on Instagram @taminglightning. Other options for support are one-time donation through Ko-fi, spelled ko-fi.com/taminglightning, or you can join me on Patreon for additional perks and benefits. I'll have links provided in the show notes. Feel free to share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, be safe, be healthy, and be strong, and I'll see you next time.